Hi guys, welcome back to my bedroom. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. Quick disclaimer, this episode may be a bit longer than the other two, but I highly encourage you to stick around because I think the information is really important. So I recently went through a breakup of sorts, like last week. And as opposed to sitting around wallowing in my own sorrow and sadness, I'm really grateful to this channel for allowing me to have the opportunity to channel all those emotions into something positive. I haven't decided if I'm going to share exactly what happened, mostly because I am still trying to figure out what exactly happened. But for ease, I basically was Donnell Jones'd. That's what happened. But I am grateful for the opportunity to, like I said, channel all of that into an episode that I think will be very helpful. In the last 4 years, I have been involved in 2 long-term open relationships. I guess you could call me a serial open relationshipper. I do feel like open relationships are a really healthy, natural thing, especially in this day and age. I do know a thing or two about making an open relationship work and how it can be a healthy, beneficial situation for the 2 participants, or 3 participants, or 4, whatever. That's what this episode is about. I want to share the do's to make a successful, happy open relationship. First and foremost, before I give a tip, it's important to note that everybody's definition of an open relationship is different. So my first tip for you, if you decide to pursue an open relationship, is to establish some sort of ground rule. You have to both be in agreement that this is what you want. If you are in a situation where you want a monogamous relationship, you know that that's what you want, and the other person says, no, I would prefer to have an open relationship, then I would encourage you to run. You cannot change what the other person wants, where they're at in their life, what they desire for a relationship, and it is a terrible situation to put yourself in, thinking that over time, if you appease them, maybe in return they'll appease you with what you want. I would encourage you to dip the fuck out and look elsewhere and let it be. However, if you both come to an agreement that, yes, I want an open relationship, understand that step 2, communication is absolutely key. As it is in any relationship, of course, but in an open relationship, you have to understand that there needs to be an open dialogue. Early on, you two should have a conversation of what an open relationship means to you. Even though it's open and technically both individuals have more freedom than you would find in a monogamous relationship, it is important to establish boundaries and ground rules for what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. Keeping in mind that boundaries and ground rules are not expectations, and I'll talk about that a little bit further, but expectations are a big no-no. This isn't really a standalone tip, so tip 2.5. Open communication needs to be a frequent thing. This can't be okay, we had one talk early on. No, because things change over time. And so I strongly encourage you to frequently give each other updates on where you're at, how you're feeling about the situation, how you feel as an individual in the situation, how you feel as a pair, and just update your partner as frequently as possible. If you begin to fall in love and the emotions start to get stronger, let the other person know. See if they're feeling the same way. See if there's any way that you need to tweak the relationship or the situationship to better fit the emotions and the feelings that are happening. Don't be afraid that it's going to ruin the dynamic. If you say, look, I want to step towards a more traditional monogamous, it's me and you relationship, and they say no, then have an honest conversation of if you're willing to put up with that. Although it may seem kind of heartbreaking at the time, I guarantee it's going to be a lot less heartbreaking than being fully committed and immersed and your partner then saying, actually, I didn't want any of this to start. So I don't know why you feel this way, because I made it clear early on that I didn't want this and you chose to ignore it. It should be noted what to do in a scenario with other individuals. An open dialogue should be had about what happens with us if somebody else comes into the picture. For my most recent open relationship, we had a strict don't ask, don't tell policy. This meant that if I fucked with somebody else, he couldn't ask me about it. And if he fucked with somebody else, it wasn't any of my business. We had a common understanding that our bond was deeper than physical sex, and physical sex could kind of just go. If one of us went off with somebody, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Obviously, if I found out, I'd be a little upset and be like, But at the end of the day, I kind of also wouldn't, because why? Why am I going to throw away all the greatness that we have because you felt like sticking your dick somewhere else? When that's our policy, that you can do that. But it was also noted in our agreement that should feelings get deeper, should we fall in love, should we want to pursue a relationship with someone else, we would have a conversation about it early on so that nobody really got hurt. That last part has a lot to do with tip number 3, which is respect. Respect is absolutely crucial to the success of any relationship, but especially an open relationship. Respect in any relationship equals care for someone's well-being and for their feelings. And so it should be noted really early on in your open communication what is found respectful and what is found disrespectful. While my previous open relationship could technically talk to and fuck with whoever he wanted, he wasn't allowed to do so if I was around. Not so much allowed, but it was highly discouraged that he text somebody else or be avidly talking to somebody else that he's fucking with when he's with me. And obviously the same went for me. Additionally, while we were open and we could freely go wherever we wanted and with whomever we wanted, if we arrived somewhere together, then we were there together and we could roam around and talk to our friends, but it would be disrespectful for me to hand out my number, start talking to random guys, start flirting with other guys, start making out with somebody else. Like, all of that would be deemed incredibly disrespectful. If you wouldn't do it to somebody on a first date, like run off and go make out with somebody else, then you shouldn't do it to somebody that you're in even the smallest, slightest semblance of a relationship with. But with everything, you can't expect somebody to know your level of respect and disrespect and what you find disrespectful. So that's why I strongly encourage having that conversation early on as well. So my 4th tip is expectations cannot exist in an open relationship. Open relationships are open-ended in nature, so each person has the opportunity to dip should they want to leave. And so any semblance of expectation that this is going to turn into something in the long run shouldn't be had at all, because it just it has a high risk of leading to disappointment. You should never expect anything from anyone in reality, but more so in an open relationship. It's why I stress having an open dialogue and expressing one's feelings on a frequent basis so everybody's up to date with what is wanted, what is desired, what one is feeling, and there isn't any room for surprise or expectation or lowering of expectations. So anyway, those are just a few tips that I wanted to share with you guys, given my reputation as an open relationshiper. Despite my recent sadness and breakup, I really do feel like open relationships are still a positive thing. They really offer the opportunity to get to know one another and to feel each other out and not fully commit off bat to something that you're not really sure of. I think it also allows for people to grow together and see if they're a solid match without having any of the expectations and the need for commitment that comes with being in a monogamous relationship. With all that being said, an open relationship is not for the faint of heart. It is not something that I encourage someone to do who knows that they want to be in a committed relationship, who has a life plan to get married to the first person that they commit to. It's not for the faint of heart. It is hard work. It does require that you put aside a good deal of pride and ego and just kind of flow through something with someone. It just kind of allows you to retain your individuality, but it's really hard to remember, especially when things are going really well and you guys are vibing together, that that person is an individual as well. You are never a secure unit. And so while you guys may be together, you have to really recognize that you are an individual. It's good training for any healthy, successful, real relationship, honestly, because so often we lose ourselves in relationships. I think it's really important to maintain your own sense of individuality. So like I said, I don't know if I'm going to entirely share what happened with my last relationship. I'm not upset at him. I think he made a really smart, responsible, respectful decision. And so while I'm not upset, I am a little sad. But regardless of my sadness, I still intend to move through light and love. Technically, I'm fully single, even though before I kind of was too. So expect to hear more episodes like this about dating, single life, because that's where I am right now. And it's been a minute, actually. I technically really haven't been single since 2007, so almost 10 years. I'm kind of excited about it, as much as I am a little upset that I don't have anybody to cuddle with on a frequent, regular basis. But I can cuddle with my own motherfucking self. So thank you once again for joining me, guys. I'm so glad that you decided to stick around and get in bed with me once again. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. If you would like to share your experiences with open relationship, why you think they're good, why you think they're bad, why you just want to kill your ex or whoever broke your heart, please leave the comments down below. Engagement is amazing. If you want to look at static photos of me living fabulously in Los Angeles, then follow my social media. All the links will be down below. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. Have a great day. Bye.